really powerful speech, thank you. Now, I'm really aware this time of day, everyone's having their sugar dip. So please raise your hand or shout, yes, please, if you would like some money. Yes, please. Sorry? Okay, I've got everyone's attention, that's good. So my name is Karla Jakeman, I'm from Innovate UK. I'm an innovation lead in connected transport. And today I'm just going to give you a bit of information about how we provide funding and connecting within innovation. So if you don't know who we are, that's gone backwards. There we go. Innovate UK, we are the government's innovation agency. We are sponsored by Bays around the corner. And our aim is economic growth, which we do through stimulating innovation. And we do this for many reasons and through different methods. So we do this because we can see that there are productivity gaps. We can see there are gaps in the market, and we can see what those opportunities are. And by funding and connecting, we can bring people together, provide the funding to get that innovation moving and to progress things. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the funding, but I really want to put some emphasis on the connecting aspect of it. I'm really pleased actually that there's quite a few faces here that I know who are already on our projects, and a couple of you have already been up on the stage today, so you've had some funding from us for various different projects. And it's through connecting people who wouldn't normally work together where you get those real, brilliant, rich projects. So we have a speciality where we bring people together, such as the catapults, with academia, with businesses, with organisations such as are here in the room today. And by bringing all of these areas together, this is where you can get the best projects. But of course, you want some funding. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But we have a good reputation of putting some money back into the economy and supporting organisations. So this 7,600 organisations we've supported, this is not necessarily funding organisations, this is connecting people and giving advice and helping people through the process that is this funding landscape. Because it can be tricky, so we do try and make it as simple as possible. And we've created up to 7 jobs for every organisation we've worked in. So we're quite proud of these stats, although they are actually quite old now. These are a little bit more up to date, 15, 16. 94 competitions. I can tell you we are very busy. Those of you who work with us will know that our diaries are crazy most of the time. We are incredibly busy doing organising projects and competitions and funding organisations such as yourselves to work on some of the innovations that you've talked about today, or some of the areas that need innovation. We do this through a 5-point plan. I'm going to go through this really quickly. But we work with the research community, so we can really see where we can get some economic growth from that, from the scientific excellence. We accelerate economic growth by really helping the smaller organisations, not just the larger organisations, but the smaller organisations. We help them meander some of these waters to help them grow. We know there are clusters around the UK, so we're helping to build on the excellence through the UK. And we work very closely with the catapult, so there's a lot of people from Transport Systems Catapult here today. We work very closely with the catapults. I'll explain that a bit more in a moment. And we're talking about different funding models. So the catapults, as you know, Transport Systems here today, but we work with all of them in different capacities, and we work very closely, and they are our family. We also recognise that it's not all about London. I'm going to name drop Swindon again, because that's where I'm from. But we realise that there are different areas around the UK who need expertise in different areas. And this is not necessarily all about London. So we're working with lots of different areas, and we now have 10 regional managers all around the UK to support that. So if you're from a specific area, I can put you in touch with your regional manager from Innovate UK so you can see what funding's around in that particular area. So how are we organised? And this is where the funding comes in. I told you I'd get to it. We are organised now into 4 different sectors. So depending on what your area is, will determine how you can get into competitions. So emerging and enabling, this is where you will find your digital, your data, your Internet of Things, areas like that, satellite applications. Health and life sciences. Now, it wasn't really until I came today and listened to a lot of speeches today that I realised how relevant this section is for a lot of people in this room as well. So the health and life sciences, it's very much about the health and the medical sector, but also agri-tech as well comes under that. Infrastructure systems I'll come back to in a minute. And manufacturing and materials. Sorry, those slides don't look very good on that big screen, but manufacturing and materials, this is where you'll find your autonomous vehicles and your advanced technologies. But infrastructure systems, which is an area that a lot of you would be interested in in this room, this is our sector, this is where I'm from, and this is connected transport, this is urban living, future cities, and energy systems. So we've brought all of those areas together because how can we provide a better transport system for people such as yourselves if we're not talking with the urban system people and the cities and all of those different areas, so we could really see the importance of bringing those areas together. Now, what happens now at Innovate UK is twice a year, each of these sectors raises a major competition. So in infrastructure systems, ours closed this week actually, and the next one will be July, but each competition is roughly 15, 20 million. Like a bit of that? Yeah, there's a few people nodding, yeah. So there are other opportunities within that as well, that they're not just 2 a year and that's it, but you can see they're staggered as well. So if your competition or your project idea doesn't necessarily fit into one sector, you might find that it will fit nicely into another with a bit of tweaking. Or also you've got the open program as well. So you've got opportunities to the open, as it says. You know, it's an opportunity to just completely put that in without it falling into any particular sector. A little bit about Horizon 2020. I'm not going to go into this too much because the opportunities for this year have now closed actually just recently, but there will be further opportunities for funding later on in the year for next year. The reason I've put this slide in though is really to say don't let Brexit put you off. That little thing, Brexit. There will be no impact, it will have no impact on Horizon 2020 until we actually leave the EU, and HM Treasury have guaranteed to underwrite any UK commitments at the time. So the regional contact point for Horizon 2020, Louise Mothersole, she is Innovate UK, so I can certainly put you in touch if you are interested in opportunities which are further afield than good old Blighty. Now, a little bit more about the industrial strategy. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this, but you can see up there some of the areas that we're also looking at. So science and technology, as I've already mentioned, the research and innovation, upgrading infrastructure. So this very much comes into our sector, but we're not talking about pouring concrete. We're not talking about adding new infrastructure. We're talking about making the best of what we've got. We're talking about making the systems we have now more efficient. And I think that's really key coming from today's meeting, that we're all the time in our section, we're talking about the efficient movement of people and goods, the efficient movement of people and goods. But I don't think it really shows how that people must be all-inclusive. So that the efficient movement of people and goods, we're not just talking about people commuting, we're talking about everybody travelling and how they want to travel and how they should be able to travel. Improving the procurement, this is the supply chain, energy and clean growth, obviously very important, and that's where we're working with energy systems. Delivering growth across the whole country, our main target. Skills, we know there are some skills shortages and some gaps, one of them being me being able to speak. Supporting businesses to start and grow. So we nurture some of these smaller organisations to really help them develop, and as you've seen from the previous slide, we've got a good reputation of doing this. And in the next few items, encouraging trade and inward investment and cultivating world-leading sectors, we are really trying to put on the map that we're not just talking about inward, we're talking about outward as well. So we want to be able to create that environment for outward export opportunities and globalization. So there's that as well. So the Industrial Challenge Fund, this is a massive opportunity where you could get some future funding from different streams. The first 3 streams for this have already been announced in the spring budget, so that's £270 million between 17 and 18. And the 3 themes are battery with regards to electric vehicles, robotics and AI, and efficient access for patients to drugs. So they are the first 3 areas. This is all available on our websites, but you can see that there are further streams that will come later on down the line. So we're working very closely, and as soon as we can give you more information on that, we will do. I was just asked to touch on DfT, T-Trig as well. I'm sure there are people much better equipped to talk about this today with T-Trig. But for DfT, the Transport Technology Research Innovation Grant, this is an area where they provide, it's quite similar to what we do at Innovate UK, providing funding. We have just done a pilot where we've done a joint funding competition to look at big data in transport, and it was very successful, so I'm sure there will be further opportunities there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are not a few people in here who did bid into that, because it was very oversubscribed. So there are further opportunities that will be available on DfT's website. So that's it really, but just to reiterate that we have regular funding opportunities at Innovate UK. We have a very strong process where applications are assessed. We have a good reputation for getting organisations together who wouldn't normally work together, so you can get those strong competition and strong consortia together to help you get that funding and help you get your application through. And we are constantly looking for the next opportunity. So, and I've sat on the table over there today, and my brain's just been fizzing with opportunities today, thinking, oh, we could do that, and we could do that. So I keep sending messages to my boss, so he's probably getting a bit fed up with me today with new ideas that I'm thinking of. So it's been really, really useful from my point of view. But please follow me on Twitter or join me on LinkedIn, and I will keep you updated on funding opportunities from Innovate UK. Thank you.